What is up, fishing world? Trevor Wagner coming back at you again. In today's episode, we're going to take a little trip. And that trip I took a couple days ago was to Lake Allen Henry. I'm going to show you my fish catches that I had from the kayak. And it was the first bass I get to caught of the year. That's right, I finally got to get my bass in the boat for 2025. Of course, I had to drive 2.5 hours south to a lake to catch that bass and a few others, but it was well worth it. It was worth the trip. The last 2 times I went out to my local lake here, that water temperature was still in that high 30s, 40s. I think the highest I seen it the last time I was out there was like 44, 45 degrees. So I wanted to head south a little bit, maybe catch them in the pre-spawn to spawning time when they're actually like moving up. So I decided to travel south a little bit, try to get to some of those warmer waters. So when I got to Allen Henry, it made that 2.5 hour drive down there. Put the kayak in, got everything going, fired up the fish finder, found out that the water temperature there was 49 degrees. So not too much warmer than what it is up here, but it was warmer. And I had hope. I was like, okay, well, I have seen reports of, bass being caught down here. Everything's good. A month ago, someone caught a 13-pounder out of there. So I'm like, I got to go give it a shot. So I went down, got out, got loaded, went out and finally caught some bass. Now, I did try the buzzbait. If you watched my last video, and I tried the buzzbait, no luck on the buzzbait. I tried spinnerbait, no luck on the spinnerbait. Switched to an underspin, no luck on the underspin. Tried jighead minnow, no luck on the jighead minnow. Tried wacky worm, no luck on the wacky worm where I was throwing it. So I was throwing pretty much everything, but there was 2 baits that got it done for me. One bait, I boated 5 bass with the one bait, and then I boated the biggest bass with the other bait. And so before I get out to the fish catches, I want to talk about those 2 baits, the rod and reel setup, and then we'll get to the fish catches at the end so you guys can get out there and see it. So the best producing that I had was none other. Those of you that follow me know this is one of my, outside of topwater, one of my favorite ways to catch, and that is the good old jerkbait. That's right, this guy right here, this is the Megabass Edo Vision 110. This is in the 1/2 ounce size. This is the exact one I caught the bass on. It was a sunny day, partly cloudy. There was some chop on the water, and then the winds picked up later. You'll see that going on. But the jerkbait really produced for me. And if you haven't seen my rod before, this is the St. Croix Victory Series, the jerk rod. This rod is an absolute beast when it comes to jerkbaits. It is a 6'8" medium power, extra fast action. And you're like, extra fast? Aren't you supposed to have a moderate action when you're dealing with jerkbaits? You would think so, but St. Croix did something special with this rod. It does have an extra fast tip, so when you're working a jerkbait, you don't have to really jerk it hard. Just little taps and that bad boy just moves. But then when it hits, it does have a bit of a parabolic bend. It kind of goes down into the blank a little bit more and keeps those fish pinned. I boated every single bass except one. And the one that I missed on this one wasn't the rod's fault. It was my fault. So, can't blame the rod when it's angler mistakes. So, again, it was most of my bass were caught on the jerkbait. So, really love jerkbait fishing. Now, let me tell you something that was interesting about some of the jerkbaits fish that I caught. So, as I mentioned, the wind started picking up later in the day. So normally, let me put the rod back here real fast. So normally when you're fishing a jerkbait, you cast it out. If I'm watching the electronics or watching something, you're sitting there, you're jerking it, jerk, 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 pause. You're doing all that, you're watching it, you're seeing it go. And on those pauses, it just sits there, right? Jerkbait just sits when you're done. As long as you're not moving your rod tip, the jerkbait will sit. Now, depending on if you have a floating, sinking, or suspending, and I use suspending, it just sits there and just hovers. And you jerk it, and it goes back and forth. Well, the problem was that the wind started blowing. So it started moving my kayak. So I was experimenting a lot today because I'd already put a couple bass in the boat when that wind started picking up. So I was still fishing the jerkbait and I was using my electronics. So I'd fire it out there, my forward facing sonar, and I'd watch my jerkbait. And I was doing it from the side because as the boat was pushing me through the water like this, I was trying to stay this way and I would cast my line. So then I'm kind of coasting and it was going with it. So I'm able to jerk the jerkbait over there as I'm going. Well, when I wasn't jerking, the jerkbait was still being pulled because the kayak was moving. So then I was like, well, I need that jerkbait to stay suspended because I know that I could see the bass hovering on the bottom. Now, with the forward-facing sonar, I was able to see that I didn't have very many suspended bass. Most of the bass where I was in the area that I was fishing, they were on the bottom. So the bottoms here, they were just right there on the bottom. You could barely see them come up a little bit and then go down. Come up and go down. But they were hovering on the bottom. So as the jerkbait's coming across and the boat was moving, of course it's kind of moving the jerkbait. Well, I need the jerkbait to be still. I need those bass to come up off the bottom, investigate it, see what it is, and then jerk it away from them. So in order to do that, I had to do something I never did before with a jerkbait. And that was I free spooled it. So with the jerkbait out there, I was jerking it, but then when I needed it to pause, I released the bail and fed out some line. So I was feathering out the line as the boat was moving to keep that jerkbait in suspending motion as I was watching the forward-facing sonar doing that. And you will see in a couple of my fish catches, when I did that, I actually seen it, was able to engage and hook them as they were coming up. So that was a really cool trick that I learned to do today, that I really learned to do in that video, catching them. So that was really, really cool. Something I'd never done before. So, and again, caught most of my jerkbait fish off of FFS. There was one that I didn't. It's kind of weird. I cast it out there. I was jerking, nothing. And then I just looked out there to just reel it back in because there was nothing. But as I started speeding it up and coming, I must have triggered one that was down below because it just came up and just nailed it as I was reeling it in. Another super cool catch. Now the other bait that caught the biggest bass of the day, another one of my favorite ways to catch a fish, came on the good old crankbait. This crankbait in particular, if you guys can't tell from looking at it, this is the Money Badger. So I'll read the specifics so you get it. This is the Money Badger 6.75, and this is the deeper diver. It can go down to 12 feet. I was fishing in water that, it got pretty deep. Some of those bass I was going after were 15, 20 feet down. And this guy caught one of the bigger ones. And so this is on my crankbait rod. If you don't know, I use the Fred Robanis. This is the Dobbins Champion Series. This is the square bill version. So this is the DC 705 CB Dobbins Champion Series crankbait rod. Absolutely love this rod. And again, this is just my Lew's Tournament MP reel. Nothing special about it, but it caught my biggest one. So those were what I used to catch those are the ones I used to catch the fish this time. So I had a fun day out on the water until that wind picked up, and you'll see in a couple of the last, especially when I caught that biggest fish and a couple of those ones before there and the fish catches, that it got pretty rough out there. And I know some people, my boat handles waves and wind really, really well. If you ever get into the Old Town Predator or Big Water series and look at them, those boats are really designed for ocean, big water. So it handles waves, it handles the wind like a champ. So I had no issues out there outside of just being uncomfortable because the wind's just throwing me around and it's really hard to keep position where the bass are to be fishing. Again, I'm a pedal drive. I don't have spot lock. I don't have all that fancy stuff. So, well, enough of me rambling on about my fish catches. Let's just get out on the water and show you what I caught.
Drifting out at sunrise, kayak glides so smooth. Water like a mirror reflects God's every move. Rod in hand, heart full of grace. I feel his presence in this peaceful place. Every ripple speaks his name, every breeze a sign. Out here on the water, his love is mine. I'm chasing fish, I'm chasing peace, finding God in the quiet, in the release. Every cast is faith, every reel is prayer. In his creation, I feel him there. Out on the water, just him and me, kayak fishing, living free. The pull of the line, the fight of the catch, every moment reminds me of his perfect match. The thrill of the chase, the calm of the flow, through it all it's his grace I know. The sunrise paints his promise, the waves hum his song. Out here in the stillness, I know where I belong.
Ooh, first bass of the year. Woo! Whew! First bass of the year on the jerkbait. Woo! Just a little fella. Wow. I don't even know if he's gonna measure. But we'll find out.
Every reel is prayer in his creation. I feel him there. Out on the water, just him and me, kayak fishing, living free. The sun sets low, his light still burns. Each day on the water, a lesson learned. Kayak drifting, soul at rest. With God by my side, I'm truly blessed. Drifting out at sunrise, kayak glides so smooth. Water like a mirror reflects God's every move. Rod in hand, heart full of grace, I feel his presence in this peaceful place. Every ripple speaks his name, every breeze a sign. Out here on the water, his love is mine. I'm chasing fish, I'm chasing peace, finding God in the quiet, in the release. Every cast is faith, every reel is prayer. In his creation, I feel him there. Out on the water, just him and me, kayak fishing, living free. The pull of the line, the fight of the catch, every moment reminds me of his perfect match. The thrill of the chase, the calm of the flow, through it all it's his grace I know. The sunrise paints his promise, the waves hum his song. Out here in the stillness, I know where I belong. I'm chasing fish, I'm chasing peace, finding God in the quiet, in the release. Every cast is faith, every reel is prayer. In his creation, I feel him there. Out on the water, just him and me, kayak fishing, living free. The pull of the line, the fight of the catch, every moment reminds me of his perfect match. The thrill of the chase, the calm of the flow, through it all it's his
Fish
grace
number
I
2 on the jerky jerk.
his promise, the waves hum his song. Out here in the stillness, I know where I belong. I'm chasing fish,
Fish number 2 on the jerkbait.
Every cast is faith, every reel is prayer in his creation. I feel him there, out on the water, just him and me. Kayak fishing, living free. I'm chasing fish, I'm chasing peace, finding God in the quiet, in the release. Every cast is faith, every reel is prayer in his creation. I feel him there, out on the water, just him and me. Kayak fishing, living free. The sun sets low, his light still burns each day on the water. A lesson learned, kayak drifting, soul at rest. With God by my side, I'm truly blessed.
Fish number 3. Again, not a biggie, but still take him.
I'm chasing fish, I'm chasing peace, finding God in the quiet, in the release. Every cast is faith, every reel is prayer in his creation. I feel him there, out on the water, just him and me. Kayak fishing, living free. The pull of the line, the fight of the catch, every moment reminds me of his perfect match. The thrill of the chase, the calm of the flow, through it all it's his grace I know. The sunrise paints his promise, the waves hum his song. Out here in the stillness, I know where I belong. I'm chasing fish, I'm chasing peace, finding God in the quiet, in the release. Every cast is faith, every reel is prayer in his creation. I feel him there, out on the water, just him and me. Kayak fishing, living free. The pull of the line, the fight of the catch, every moment reminds me of his perfect match. The thrill of the chase, the calm of the flow, through it all it's his grace I know. The sunrise paints his promise, the waves hum his song. Out here in the stillness, I know where I belong. I'm chasing fish, I'm chasing
Number 4.
finding God in the quiet, in the release. Every cast is faith, every reel is prayer in his creation. I feel him there, out on the water, just him and
Number
me.
4. He's a tiny guy. I don't know.
I'm chasing fish, I'm chasing peace, finding God in the quiet, in the release. Every cast is faith, every reel is prayer in his creation. I feel him there, out on the water, just him and me. Kayak fishing, living free. The sun sets low, his light still burns each day on the water. A lesson learned, kayak drifting, soul at rest. With God by my side, I'm truly blessed. Drifting out at sunrise, kayak glides so smooth. Water like a mirror reflects God's every move. Rod in hand, heart full of grace, I feel his presence in this peaceful place. Every ripple speaks his name, every breeze a sign. Out here on the water, his love is mine.
Wind just got crazy. Get him out of here. Fish number 5, but I'm getting blown off the water, so put them on the board, take some pics, and get out.
The sunrise sunrise paints his promise, the waves hum his song. Out here in the stillness, I know where I belong. I'm chasing fish, I'm chasing peace, finding God in the quiet, in the release. Every cast is faith, every reel is prayer in his creation. I feel him there.
Bonus fish. Fish number 6. Better fish number 6.
Sunrise paints his promise, the waves hum his song. Out here in the stillness.
All right, well folks, that's a wrap. So the wind kind of took me off today, as you can see in the video when we go. That it really pushed me off the water. That's all right. I got 6 in the boat today. Pretty much mostly dinks, but a couple decent sized ones. That it's a good way to start. Again, first bass I caught of the year, so I can't be any happier than that. Skunks out of the boat. Now it's just time for upgrades and get practicing for the TKS Team Kayak Series in Gunnersville in April. So I'm gonna get all packed up, and thank you guys for watching. Comment down below, what was something that you liked that I did today, that I used today? Any questions you have of me for being out, put it down below. If you have any generic fishing questions, put them down below, guys. And with that being said, if you can, get out and fish and catch some bass. All right, guys, I'm gonna get loaded up. I'll talk to you guys later.